Okay, video time. Women Warriors channel here. I wanted to come on today just for a quick video and a word of encouragement, to say hi and hope everybody's doing well. We're having beautiful spring weather. It's so much fun and so nice and beautiful. And I just had a thought that keeps running through my mind that I want to share with you. And I don't want to make a big deal out of it. I just have a thought. A lot of people argue about it, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to come across as sounding like I have the answer to it, or anything like that. I just want to share some thoughts with you that hopefully might help you, because I do have a concern, and I even hear preachers talking about this subject, and I'm hoping that we're all going to the Word and looking for the answers to the questions, and this is concerning the end times. For you Christians, I know we talk a lot about the pre-trib, the mid-trib, and the post-trib subject, and a lot of people have different ideas about it, even different ideas about those ideas. But here's my concern. I'm just going to lay it right out. My concern is that not that we absolutely know how everything's going to go down during the end times, but that well, we know that we can trust God. We know that He's got this all under control, and that He knows what He's doing, and that we can trust Him with our lives and with our souls, right? So I'll just share with you my thought, and I do not have all the authority on the end times. I know so many more people who understand it better than I do. But like I said, I do have a concern that I want to bring up, and please comment. We do have some questions coming in, and I'm hoping that we can get to that one of these days. And so if you have one, add that to our question file. There's some scripture that I go to for my belief on the time of tribulation and Jesus' return. I believe, and I know it's not popular, I believe that Christians will go through the tribulation, and that immediately after the tribulation is when Jesus returns to take His bride. And that's my personal belief. And the scripture that I use, I shouldn't say use, the scripture that I feel like points me in that direction is a better way to say it. One of them is in Matthew 24, verse 29. In the previous verses, it's talking about the end times and the things that's going to happen. And then in verse 29 it says, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." Doesn't that just, it's just very exciting times it's going to be then, right? But to me, this says the tribulation will happen first. I don't want to go into any kind of an argument as to why people believe that. the other way. I don't want to debate it with anybody because for why? It, it it's a subject that we don't I don't know of anybody who has all the answers in this subject, and don't know that it'd be profitable to argue it, to study it. Yes, study it every day. That's what we should do. Study it and study it. There is one other verse that I can share. It's in Mark chapter 13, verse number 24. So again, it's talking about the end times, and it says in 24, but in those days after the tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then shall he send his angels, and gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. So that's pretty much what the other one said. It's the wording is just a little bit different, but pretty much the same thing. If anything, maybe just a little bit clearer. But in those days after the tribulation, the sun will be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and then we'll see Jesus. And so it's just very plain to me. And I know that why people believe in pre-trib, because from what they read in the Word, they don't feel like that God would put us through that. But what the Word says, if we will have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to understand, the Word says that we will suffer tribulation. We will suffer hard times, trials, and tribulations in our life. And I'm not using that word tribulation here to prove my point. I'm not even trying to prove a point. Here's the thing that bothers me about everyone believing that we're not going to go through tribulation. That is, that when it gets as bad as it's going to get before Jesus comes back, people are going to be so confused, so upset. It's not going the way they thought it would go. And could possibly lose faith. We don't want that. And so that's the only reason that I say search it out for the truth of it. Not to argue it or not to prove that you're right and someone else is wrong, but just to be ready. Just to be ready for whatever comes, whatever we have to face. The Bible does say that there is wrath to come that we will be protected from. And so we know that God's going to protect us from that. And we know, because we know the Word, that He's going to see us through whatever we have to go through. I mean, we do have to go through hard times. We are going through hard times. And it's possible it may get worse. And I believe it will. I believe that it will, and I believe that we need to be prayed up and have our spiritual senses with God. Not with what we want to believe, not with what we've heard or necessarily been taught, but what is truth. We want to know what is truth, because that's what's going to see us through the end times, is to seek God's face with a pure heart and a sincere heart, wanting to know what things really are, not to live in some dream world. And I'm not using that term to be mean, because I get it. I totally get why people want to believe that we won't see all that tribulation, because it's going to be tough. But number one, we need to know what we see when it gets here. And number two, I believe God is calling us who are seeking the word and seeking God's face to be ready to help others who are going to get down and confused and hurt. We need to be prayed up and booted up and suited up in our warrior costume, which you all know, the armor of God. We need that, and we need to have truth to be able to help other people, because there's going to be a lot of needy people in that time. So that was the word I wanted to encourage you, and that's why I wanted to share it. So I hope it'll help you, and if you vehemently disagree with me on that, it's okay. It's all right. I mean, I have lived and loved a lot of people who believe it that way, and that's okay. Just seek it. Just seek into it and dig into it. And I'm going to say goodbye from here. I hope you guys have a great week. Love you all. Bye.